It's Water Wednesday. Every Wednesday I look at a water movie for no particular reason. Today we have 300. Rise of an Empire! Now this is a wet film, and that everything drips with blood. Large, insane amounts of blood. So much blood. It stands out almost like an entity in and of itself. The blood's role is that of an exclamation point, like a whoomp, pow, kazoom, and then exaggerated text balloons from a 60s Batman episode. It's there to be loud, as a call to rev up your thirsty, bloody instincts. This ride has no safety bars and is not expected to stay on the tracks. Now, a wonderful thing about this feel is its use of slow motion. 3D loves it slow, so much so that I wish I had a slow-mo button on my remote when I watch these things. Slow takes you out of the movie and puts you in the moment. Not only does it give you time to soak in the stereo, but it mimics memory. This may not be how a fight looks in real life, but it's how a fight is remembered. The moments of impact are played and replayed in the mind, played so slowly that you can almost live in those moments for the rest of your life. The real pleasure here, though, is the art style. With it, the gimmick of 3D really comes alive, even if the shot has a flat background, such as it does with this scene of Athens on fire. But combined with the high contrast, it gives off this living comic book vibe. It forces your attention to the action of the actors. So often in these big moments of man versus the world, the man gets absorbed into the art. He becomes the setting. Everything is on fire here, is collapsing, and this poor fellow, too, is cut down. And flat, it's all sort of one and the same tapestry. The point is made story-wise, but when the poor fellow is cut out of the background, when he stands there separately from it all, then it's no longer the world, it becomes his world. The city burns around him, but this is what is happening to him. The 3D takes this moment and makes it just about him. And that's what comic books are great at. Now, if you read a book, say a novel, you tend to interpret information and you build up that world from behind your eyes. Your reactions, your experiences are like reliving a memory. You may enjoy or shudder at the experience, but it's your experience. It comes from within you. But comics happen in front of your eyes. It's more like listening to a friend recount his story. And the effect is quite different. This is about him who recounts the story. Now, maybe you like him, maybe you don't, but it's still him. And I think that's why comics work so well for superheroes, because it has, for lack of a better term, this is overused, but it has a rock star effect. There's an inclination to recreate that him on your outside through trinkets, t-shirts, which are all small gestures to imitate and recreate the storyteller, very much like a child imitating parents. Now, coming back to the movie, a few details I noticed this time. This one I was able to see in the theater back when it came out, and the stereo looked great. To my memory, I just loved the experience. Now, on my living room TV, 55-inch passive 3D, it also looked great, terrifically enjoyable. However, I noticed when I watched it on my small active 3D monitor, which I have attached to the computer, that some shots looked significantly flatter than what I experienced on my bigger TV, especially in the more subtle stereo that defines the face. Now, I've suspected this for a while, but I feel I'm finally convinced of it now. 3D is best viewed on the biggest possible screen. Now, the brain can pick out very slight differences between the left and right to build its mental depth maps, and you often get these very slight differences when it comes to face details, especially in these conversions. But at a certain point, details become just too small to register, so a fleshed out face at 55 inches becomes a cardboard cutout at 24 inches. And I imagine the returns become significantly more diminished and pronounced on something like Google Cardboard. Now, the stereo here, though, is really good. Now, I did notice a single frame that had an error in it, but this is not indicative of what you get with this movie. This is just almost an Easter egg error. Story-wise, this is a unique follow-up in that it is neither sequel or prequel, but a parallel story played out at the same time as the original. And I cannot think of another example, at least one that doesn't involve time travel, that does this. It's very clever, and the first time I saw this, that choice impressed the hell out of me. However, in hindsight, I also see that this story, Rise of an Empire, uses that choice to both water down and reassign some of the Spartan valor, which was at the very heart of the original 300. This tale, it actually recasts the Spartans as not so much a sovereign powerhouse, but rather playing a smallish part in the larger designs of a Greek commander. Even the enemy are now portrayed as a kind of puppet pulled along by this Eva Green character. And here you see her unable to defeat the Greek in battle. She unleashes her most powerful weapon. My guess, that's gonorrhea. But if you don't look too deeply into this movie, which is kind of an ironic statement for the 3D movie, it's still a really fun battle that really makes a splash.